that is, I kind of like that one.
So we're very proud that Locke Foundation is here to help with the education of the public events for the community as a historical preservation town for the Chinese who built it over 100 years ago. And we welcome you. Our chair of the Locke Foundation is Stuart Walthall. Okay, so Stuart is not here yet. I'm going to introduce John Hoffenthal. John is our sponsor event person from the F&M Bank. He is a vice president of F&M Bank, local community here, and I'd like to introduce you to John Hoffenthal and his family. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Thanks, honey. I have to get out here what I wanted to say. Well, good morning. As Honey said, I'm John Hoffenthal. I'm a banker for F&M Bank. A little closer. There we go. Thanks. I'm a banker for F&M Bank here in Walnut Grove. More importantly, I'm a product of the Delta here. My grandmother grew up in nearby Cortland and still tells stories of coming to Locke as a young girl in the 1930s and early 40s to shop with her family for clothes and school supplies, and still tells of the unique people and the character of this special place. The bank and I are honored to support the community of Locke in celebrating this Chinese Lunar New Year. F&M Bank is committed to the communities it serves in the Delta. In fact, F&M Bank is one of only 9 banks in the state of California to receive the highest Community Reinvestment Act rating of outstanding. If you're not yet a customer of F&M Bank, please consider becoming one. Thank you to the Locke Foundation for your kind hospitality today. My family and I are all honored to be here to celebrate this event. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next, I would like to introduce you to Karen Nolan. Karen Nolan is the representing Assembly Member Jim Fraser and also the Assistant Field Representative VJ Chu, Representative Jim Fraser's office.
It's so nice to be here again for another festival and another opportunity to celebrate the history in Locke. And I did want to introduce VJ Chu because he's Jim Fraser's newest field representative, and his territory will include Locke. So if you live here, this will be the person that you want to contact for Assemblymember Fraser's office. And Assemblymember Fraser also asked me to present this certificate to the Locke Foundation for its continued commitment to cultural and educational awareness of the city of Locke's, or the town of Locke's, historical significance in the Delta and in California. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's take a picture.
Okay.
It's really nice and beautiful. Thank you very
Next, I'd like to introduce you to Mayor Steve Lee. Mayor Steve Lee is currently serving the mayor of the city of Elk Grove, the first Hmong citizen to serve in the entire U.S. as a mayor. So we welcome Mr. Steve Lee.
I see right behind me my brother, Councilman Darren Soon. Why don't you come on up as well, Darren? Since I think we're the only two here, right?
Yes.
From Elk Grove?
Yeah, from Elk Grove.
So this is my brother from another mother. We obviously look exactly alike. We always, take these opportunities opportunities to really acknowledge the contributions of Chinese Americans. And I was first introduced to Locke during my high school days by Professor Peter Luong. And he brought me down here and explained the significance of Locke and how that played a role in the development of this region. And since then, I've been a big admirer and supporter of what we still have. For many of you young people, I always tell you, remember to learn where you came from. Remember to acknowledge and recognize those who came before you. This is a special opportunity for us to recognize Locke, to celebrate Lunar New Year here in the city that has historical significance in our region, and not only just in our region, but in the whole entire United States of America. And that's what's so special. And so this is an opportunity for me to acknowledge the board and many of you who are supporters of this historical location within our community. Nothing makes me more happy than to recognize those who have made significant contributions. If you walk along the street, you will recognize that these buildings were not just built today. These are not tract homes. These are on the backs of hard-working Chinese Americans who came to this country and embarked on the American dream, the journey to having a piece of what it means to be America. And today is our opportunity to recognize that and to celebrate. But more importantly, this is also an opportunity for us to recognize the excuse me, but my English as a second language is making me struggle. The perseverance of our community, particularly our relatives in China with the fight against the coronavirus. Look, the truth of it is that practice good hygiene, right? Wash your hands, cover your cough, and stay away from sick people, and you'll be okay. And it's just the overhype by the media and what we're seeing out of China really alarms everyone, to the point where a lot of these lunar celebration New Year have been canceled. And I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge Douglas for having the vision and really pushing forward, because if not for the vision of the board and many of you who want to continue to push along these lines, we wouldn't be having this celebration today. And so my distinct honor to be here. Let's have some fun and let's show the rest of the world that humankind, human love will beat any sort of viruses out there. So thank you very much. And I don't know, Darren, would you like to say a few words as well?
Thank you, Brother Lee. Good evening or afternoon, everybody. My name is Darren Soon. As we mentioned, I serve on Locke City Council. But the honor about serving where we're serving today, you get in touch with your roots and remembering where you came from. Coincidentally, my family immigrated here from China, Zhongshan, through Angel Island, and settled in Cortland, just up the street. My dad was a Soon. Bob Soon was a good friend of my grandfather's. Corliss Lee, my cousin here. Corliss Lee Soon was also a member of the family. My grandmother was a Jang. We did a lot of sharecropping here in the Delta, and so it's just an honor for me to be here today, to come back and celebrate Chinese New Year with you. Speaking of remembering where you came from, the Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, is a great opportunity to remember our culture and celebrate here in America. And enjoy this day, everybody. Thank you very much for being here.
Now I'd like to introduce you to the chair of the Locke Foundation, Mr. Stuart Walthall.
Thank you, honey. I sure want to thank, again, my name is Stuart Walthall. I'm chairman of the Locke Foundation. And I want to thank all of you so much for coming out today. As Mayor Lee mentioned, there's been a lot of discussion about the coronavirus, a lot of overreaction, and I just very much appreciate you all taking the time, driving out here to Locke, and celebrating Chinese New Year in this historic and picturesque place. So thank you very much. I want to tell you just a little bit about the Locke Foundation. The mission of the Locke Foundation is to educate the public about the history and the culture of this town. The Locke Foundation runs the Boarding House Museum and Visitor Center. In short, the Locke Foundation is the only organization that advocates for the town of Locke. I'd like to invite you all to get a newsletter, check out our website, see the things that we're doing, find out a little bit about our scholarship program, visit the website, see the archived photos, histories, previous newsletters. But what I'd most like to see is that you all enjoy this day in the largest, most complete example of a rural agricultural Chinese American community in the United States. Thank you so much for coming.
And next, I'd like to bring up Corliss Lee. Corliss Lee chairs the Locke Oral History Project. This is a new project that Locke Foundation is embarking on, and she'll tell you more about it.
Hi, excuse me, I have a cheat sheet. I'm not good at this. Oh, thank you. Jeez.
And you're short.
Okay, my name is Corliss Soon Lee. I don't know if you know Lim Key's department store. My parents, Louise and Bob Soon, ran it, and I'm their daughter. My sister grew up here, and she married a local Locke boy from Moon Cafe right down the road. So our history is very close to our hearts here. What I want to say is that this committee is here today to reach out to those people who actually lived in Locke and the Delta surrounding area. First and foremost, to these Chinese, I want to say, and I'm a crybaby, we should be very, very proud that we helped create the levees, that created the farmland, that we ended up farming. We made it one of the most prolific agricultural lands in the world. Locke is now a National Historic Site landmark on par with the Golden Gate Bridge. Yes, that's true. Unlike other Chinatowns, which is part of a larger Chinatown, a larger city and town like Sacramento, Stockton, San Francisco, even Ileton and Portland, we stand alone. Locke is the only town left in America that was solely inhabited by the Chinese. The Locke Foundation has formed a special committee, and we're working on recording our stories. There have been some wonderful stories already recorded, but we absolutely need to capture more life experiences so that we are well-rounded in our understanding of our history here. Without our stories, there will be no history. And I know it's very difficult for some of you to tell your stories. Yes, very painful. But there were the good times. And there were lessons that we learned along the way. And all of this should be passed on to the future generations. Our history is not only important to the Chinese American history, it is also important to the history of America itself. So we would be very happy, our committee, if you would step forward and sign up. We have a sign-up sheet at the boarding house. If you want to tell your stories, we're here to listen. Thank you so very much, and we hope to have you join on our efforts. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call up American Studies, and just recently he actually helped with giving input and curating the Chinese exhibit at the California Museum. He's also co-chair, being the Pioneer Committee, and also a member and founder of the North American Chinese Museum in Marysville. In 2 weeks, they are planning their Buckeye Festival, and here is Brian Tom to talk about his background and the festival.
Hello. First of all, I'd like to thank the Locke Foundation for this opportunity to talk about the Buckeye Festival in Marysville. It's taking place next weekend, 22nd and 23rd. The Chinatown in Marysville and the Chinese town of Locke have much in common. In both places, the people host festivals to celebrate their Chinese history. And in both places, there are Chinese American museums to help preserve that history. Many of you have already heard about the Buckeye Festival in Marysville. It is the oldest festival in the state of California, which started 140 years ago. There are two series of events planned for the Buckeye Festival. First are the traditional events. It will start with a parade at 11 o'clock on Saturday, and the parade lasts for 2 hours until 1. And then there will be the traditional firing of the bombs, which will take place on Sunday at 4 p.m. And finally, the Buckeye Temple itself will be open on both days. And then there are a new series of events that was started by this committee called the Chinese American Pioneer Heritage Committee, of which I am the co-chair. And for these events, we will start our schedule at 1:30 on Saturday with the film festival. There's also a children's play at 2 called The Dragon's Gift. And at 2 and 4, there's a cooking demonstration by Chef Don Lee from New York City. And he will cook food that the Chinese railroad workers ate when they built the Transcontinental Railroad. On both days, there's a historic photo exhibit of Chinatowns in San Jose and Pacific Grove. And in addition, the Chinese Historical Society from San Francisco is bringing 2 of their displays, one on Chinese American women and the other is on the Chinese in the sunset. On Saturday evening, we'll have our annual Pioneer Dinner, where we will honor Raymond Ng, the first Chinese American councilman in Oakland. And on Sunday, the committee will offer history and organizing workshops. Some of these events are free and others require a suggested donation. Actually, the complete schedule is available on my website, ChineseAmericanMuseum.com. The Chinese American Museum itself will have programs both on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, there will be mini lectures on subjects of Chinese American history and issues. And on Sunday, we will have some book readings. For those of you who get Channel 10, I will be appearing as a guest on this coming Tuesday, the 18th at 9 a.m. on a program called Your California Life. And I'll somehow manage to leave some of the schedules, printed schedules, possibly in this museum for those that are interested in getting more detailed on the program. And later today at 3:30, I will be speaking at the River Road Gallery on my brother Lawrence and I have written 4 Arcadia Publishing books. They're mainly historical pictures of all the small town Chinatowns. One of them is on Locke and the surrounding Chinatowns in this area. So thank you for your attention. I hope to see you all in Marysville.
Thank you, Brian. Now I'd like to introduce you to the Vice Chair, Locke Foundation, Mr. Clarence Chu.
Hi, what a beautiful day for this gathering. Thank you all for coming in to join us here in Locke to celebrate the Chinese New Year. And what I'm going to here to do right now is to brief you a little bit. After the speeches is going to be performance of the lion dance by the group from Eastern Ways, and then they also demonstrate martial arts. So it's all going to be right here in front of the school. So stay put. And then of course after that at 1 o'clock we're going to have different things. I'm going to run down through this program sheet that you can pick up at the boarding house. 1 o'clock we're going to have a tea ceremony presentation by Master Namely Thompson. Jianying Association is just right next to Al's place. It's just a little bit further down the main street. And then of course we do have David Suho do a presentation of Chinese cooking history and all that interesting things at the River Road Art Gallery. And also a little bit later on we will have Elizabeth Wong talk about the Chinese horoscopes. They're all very interesting topics. So that's the main thing that Locke Foundation really want to promote, is to truly understand about the Chinese culture and the history and why we are doing certain things at home as a tradition, especially towards the Chinese New Year. And also we do have 3 musicians under leadership of Louisa going to perform at the boarding house, Locke Boarding House Museum. That's to my left, the 2-story buildings. And also we have a teacher, Linda Yu from Sacramento, who come down with several of her students. They have painting and calligraphy contest. So please be a judge. We have sheets and boards at the school that you can look at the display of the drawings and our paintings, and then you can put a number and vote, and we have cash prizes for the winners. And now I'd like to introduce the people behind the scene to put this event together. And I'd like to you to meet the Chinese New Year committee members, the co-chair, Anita Low. Please give her a big hand. We put in a lot of effort to put this together. And committee member Honey Lam. And myself. Thank you. And then also I'd like to introduce the remainder of the members of the Locke Foundation under leadership of Chairman Stuart Walther. Stuart? Thank you. Because we like to take a group picture. And then the secretary is Douglas. Sharon? Douglas? I saw you earlier. Thank you. It's been a tremendous help for us to fundraise, help us do a lot of fundraising and all that. And the third person, and then another person is the treasurer, Eileen Leung. Thank you very much. She's been doing a lot of office work and working really hard for Locke Foundation year-round. And then the rest of the members, Dustin Marr. I don't know what he's. Mark Mueller, are you here?
Mark goes over here.
Mark, please come up. We'd like to take a group picture. And, well, I guess Daryl is not here today. But I guess this is everybody here from Locke Foundation. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Collis. Yeah, Collis Lee. Directors, Locke Foundation directors. Yeah, this is embarrassing. I'm sorry. I even have my cheat sheet here too. I should have read it. Okay, let's get together and take a picture with our guests.
The guests?
Actually, we should scoot up. We're off the photo plane. There you go. All right. Great.
Okay.
There you go.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
Okay, Eastern Ways, the lion dance starts. Okay, all right. Give them a big hand. Eastern Ways lion dancers.
Best painter in the world, that's me. Yeah. You can't.
How, for example, how long it takes to do what?
Shooting. So it took me 3 months to finish it. But when I'm painting outside, this painting, 15 hours.
Yeah.
Finish it.
Before it gets stopped.
You know, that place is also very famous.